As Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi wraps up his two-day visit to India, New Delhi faces an uncomfortable question. Can it really trust China even as Beijing deepens its embrace of Pakistan? The visit is framed as a chance to reset ties, but beneath the handshakes and formal statements lies a harsher reality. India must decide whether dialogue with China is diplomacy or delusion. Wang Yi's arrival comes at a sensitive moment. For the first time since the disengagement along the line of actual control in Ladakh, Delhi has been now pressing on Beijing towards de-escalation. Nearly 5 years after the Galwan clashes, both nations have kept between 50,000 to 60,000 troops along the frontier. The standoff has not ended, it has merely frozen into an armed watchfulness. And yet, the Chinese minister is here, meeting External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, the two officials tasked with managing the boundary question. The meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a prelude to Modi's first visit to China in 7 years.
Well, India has no option but to proceed on better ties with China, given the fact that China is one of India's largest trading partners. We share a contested boundary, a 4,000 kilometer long line of actual control. It's a disputed boundary. But given the trajectory of India-US relations in the last couple of weeks, especially under President Donald Trump, India has no option but to seek better ties with China. Now, the India-US partnership under President Donald Trump's second term has been a bit of a shocker, because this was a partnership that was built up over 25 years. This was being steered under successive Republican and Democrat presidents. It's 25 years since President Clinton was the first US president to visit India in nearly 2 decades. Ever since, successive US presidents have built upon this relationship and turned it into what US politicians call the most significant strategic partnership of the 21st century. But under Donald Trump, under his in his second presidency term, he has upended the entire relationship. He has made it transactional. He has caused New Delhi great grief with not just his words but his actions as well, imposing tariffs. India has among the highest tariffs in the world, apart from Brazil. This has come under the second Trump administration, and many in New Delhi are questioning the fate of the India-US strategic partnership under President Donald Trump. Now, in such circumstances, in such changed geopolitical times of geopolitical flux, India has no option but to pursue better ties with China. And that is a process that has been set in motion over the last couple of months. The feelers have come from the Chinese side as of last year, when there was a certain element of demilitarization, there's a certain element of disengagement along the line of control with line of actual control with China and India on the Ladakh frontier. After that, India and China have decided to slowly rebuild that relationship and possibly try and take it back to what it was pre-2020, when China unilaterally brought its military on the border in a show of muscle flexing. Now, trust has been the biggest casualty in the India-China relationship, especially in the last couple of years, given the border posturing that China under Xi Jinping has embarked upon. But given this very changed and very altered geopolitical scenario, especially in the past couple of months, India has no option but to proceed along better ties with China.
But trust does not come easily. Behind the veneer of renewed engagement is Beijing's parallel dance with Islamabad. Wang Yi's next stop after India is Pakistan, a move that undercuts any illusion of singular focus on India. At the very moment Beijing speaks of stabilizing ties with Delhi, it strengthens military and diplomatic muscle of India's most entrenched adversary. This duplicity is what fuels the central dilemma. Can India take China's assurances at face value? The shadow of Pakistan looms large. China's ironclad friendship with Islamabad is no secret. In recent months, Pakistan has received Hangor-class submarines, J-10C fighter jets, and diplomatic cover from Beijing during India's anti-terror strikes. Beijing even rolled out the red carpet for Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, weeks after he visited Washington. For Delhi, the optics are striking. China poses as a peace partner on the Himalayas while bolstering Pakistan's military machine in India's backyard. And Beijing's willingness to balance between Washington and Islamabad only adds to India's suspicions. Pakistan is not merely a client, but a conduit through which China exerts pressure on Delhi from multiple angles.
China has severe trust issues when it comes to India, and one of those big reasons for those trust issues is China's arming of Pakistan over the last couple of decades. Now, China is believed to have supplied Pakistan not just nuclear weapons blueprints, but actually tested the weapons for them. It's given Pakistan fissile material in the 1980s, and it's proceeded to arm Pakistan over several decades. Now, 80% of Pakistan's military purchases over the last few years have been of Chinese origin, and all of this hardware was seen during Operation Sindoor, whether it was surface-to-air missiles, whether it was fighter jets, long-range air-to-air missiles, all of them were Chinese in origin. That didn't, of course, prevent India from doing what it had to do during Operation Sindoor. All of the Chinese hardware, the performance has been severely questioned because they could not protect Pakistan from what they were intended to do. China continues arming Pakistan with submarines, for instance. That's a big force multiplier. China plans to not just supply Pakistan with submarines, it's planning to sell them 8 Hangor-class submarines, but it's also giving it the capacity, the capability to build submarines on its own. That's a very big capability that Pakistan has not had until now. Now, given all of these issues, China's consistent arming of Pakistan, which does not have India's best interests at heart, that will continue to be, well, not the elephant in the room, but certainly the dump truck filled with gravel in the middle of the room when India and China talk business.
At stake is not just Pakistan, it is a history of suspicion that refuses to fade. India has watched Beijing build a mega dam on the Yarlung-Zhangpo-threatening water flows into the Brahmaputra. It has watched Chinese survey ships dock in Sri Lanka and the Maldives, gathering data with dual-use potential. It has seen China woo Indian media and intellectual circles in track to diplomacy, trying to soften perceptions even as its actions harden mistrust. And it has never forgotten 1963, when Pakistan handed over the Shaksgam Valley, a part of Indian territory under illegal occupation, to China through a so-called border agreement. The valley remains under Chinese control today. How then does India separate dialogue from deception?